Greetings from the Duke Mansion in Charlotte, North Carolina, where the Big South chief executives are meeting, the presidents and chancellors of the member institutions. I'm Mark Bryant from the Big South office, and I have with me a very special guest here at this meeting, President of the NCAA, Dr. Mark Emmert. And Dr. Emmert, first off, I suppose, why are you here today, and what is the message you're bringing to the Big South?
Well, I go around to each of the conferences that I can get to and meet with the presidents and chancellors in particular, talk with them about what's working for them in the NCAA right now, what their issues and concerns are, and talk about the big, broad issues facing college sports today, of which there's plenty.
Certainly. Among those broad issues, the value of a scholarship is something that's come up a lot in many discussions out there. Certainly these days we know that an average college student can get thousands of dollars in debt just from their student loans. Talk about your perspectives on the value of a scholarship for a student athlete, both in college and beyond college.
Well, I think there's a tendency to undervalue what a scholarship to one of the great member institutions of the Big South means to a young man or young woman. There's obviously just the financial advantage of that. We know that somebody who attends school as an athlete on scholarship doesn't have the burden of debt, doesn't have the expenses of the school as they're going through it. But more importantly, what it really means to someone is how it changes their life afterwards. On average, in monetary terms, someone with a college degree earns over $1 million or $1.25 million more in their lifetime than somebody that didn't go to college. That's a pretty staggering difference. We also know all the huge benefits that applies to somebody as they go through life. And so the single most important thing someone can do to improve their life right now is get a degree from a great university or college.
When it comes to student athletes and the nature of amateurism, that's something that gets bandied about a lot as well. Do you see the definition of amateurism being any different, say, 3 to 5 years from now than it is today?
The fundamental notion behind amateurism has been pretty constant for over 100 years now in the NCAA, and that is that the NCAA is about students competing against students on a level playing field. And while the scholarship support has changed over the years in one way or another, it's still about these students being from their universities, not being employees of the universities, not being involved in these games because they're being compensated or paid to play. It's about providing support for them to be students. That's what scholarships do, and that's what amateurism means in America.
And we talked about students and their education and the value of it beyond. One thing that an important metric for the NCAA has been the graduation success rate, the GSR, and been doing that about 20 years and has hit an all-time high at 86% for the NCAA, and the Big South has done as well at 85%, matching its high. Over the length of this measurement, what do you attribute that improvement?
Well, first and foremost, the attention and hard work of the students themselves. They're the ones that achieve those great results. When you look at schools across the board, Big South included, student athletes, most people are surprised to learn, have higher graduation rates than the non-athletes. And that's true whether they're men or women, regardless of their race. They are more successful academically if they happen to be an NCAA athlete than if they're not. And when the NCAA members, the university leaders, came together 20 years ago and said, we want to focus on this, they put in place a variety of different support mechanisms, including expectations about the academic skills of a student when they start school, put in place expectations about continued success toward degree and movement toward their degree. All of those things have been having a really profound impact. So we've seen a 16 percentage point increase in graduation rates of student athletes. That means that tens of thousands of students have now graduated who were student athletes who wouldn't have graduated otherwise had those numbers not changed. And that's a tribute to the schools, it's a tribute to the students, it's a tribute to the coaches who've all kept the focus on the right thing.
Outstanding. We appreciate your time, Dr. Mark Emmert, President of the NCAA, here to visit with the CEOs of the Big South Conference.